Oh, hello everyone. The Greek referendum took place on the weekend. Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras held a referendum on the 5th of July, and the Greeks came back with a no vote, no against austerity, which actually surprised the market. So the no vote was 61% and 82% of the vote has been counted. So the financial markets were surprised by this. The Greeks basically decided to say no against austerity, the rules which are very tight on the economy, and it basically puts rules on the Greek economic ministers and the Greek politicians to stop spending, which basically reduces growth within the economy and reduces jobs particularly. So there is 6% of Greeks 30 and under that are unemployed at the moment, which is quite bad, which also reduces income and Greeks' ability to actually pay down debt. There is a concern that the Greek banks are now running out of cash. They have been closed for about a week. And also that the Greeks have got some very large debt repayments coming up this month in July. One particular one is coming up on the 20th of July, which is $3.5 billion. And if you have a look at the debt schedule in the next slide, there are quite a few things that are happening this month that they've got to pay down. So the ECB, the European Central Bank, also makes emergency liquidity assistance to the Greeks. ELA they call that. Now there is a cap on that, and there is some rumour going around at the moment. The Greek banks, when they open tomorrow, they will be basically broke, and they could potentially go belly up. So also there's another rumour that the ECB can't make any more funding to those banks, something to do with their constitution, but this hasn't yet been confirmed yet. So Tsipras came out today, wants to restore things, wants to actually meet with the European Central Commission as well as the EU and the IMF, and to negotiate a better deal. So we'll just have to see what happens. It is fairly exciting at the moment and very much unheard of in new territory. The International Monetary Fund today also came out and agreed that the austerity measures for Greece were too harsh, and that with a no from the Greeks, possibly they may come up with some other deal. So it's going to be very interesting to see what sort of deal they're going to be talking about. But the reality is, if Greece doesn't get emergency funding, it's absolutely going to be a disaster, because we're hearing stories that people are living on no income or just very little income in terms of pensions. There's a food shortage and a medicine shortage as well. And if the banks run out of money, which it sounds like they are, then there's just going to be no money to be had. So it's all very interesting. Also, Varoufakis, the Minister of Finance, resigned today as well. So the media is certainly saying that the creditors are very happy that Varoufakis has resigned, because he was actually loathed. The creditors didn't like Varoufakis and the way they had to negotiate with him as well. So all very interesting. Now this is the Greek debt calendar going forward. As you can see, on the 20th of July, there's a big European Central Bank repayment they have to make of $3.5 billion, but there's also other IMF, International Monetary Fund loan repayments as well, and other Treasury bills and the like. So it is a very big month in July for paying back debt, and the question is, where are they going to get the money from to pay back debt? This is extraordinary affairs, what's happening at the moment. So a European summit has been called for tomorrow to see what happens with Greece. The reality is, as we've said in previous DVDs, it does look like really the Greeks, there's no way out really. I mean, they have extended debt. The European Central Banks have extended debt. They've written the loans off as much as they can. They've made the structure of the debt very, very long term, so they can pay it off very long term. But the truth of the matter is, if you're not earning income in an economy, and the income has actually been halved for 5 years, which is what's happening in Greece, then it really, realistically, your ability to be able to pay it or be able to afford to pay the debt is just not there. So it's pretty hard. Greece is really, really struggling to pay any sort of debt, because income in the economy is just not there. The economy is not growing. The Germans are still, insisting that they pay the debt, but the reality is, if they don't have the money, they don't have the money. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But it's all quite extraordinary and, quite exciting for markets. Markets are very volatile. We've seen equity markets down quite a bit. The bond market, people are buying yield, essentially. In other words, they're investing in safe haven US Treasuries and government bonds that are G7, that are AAA rated. Also, people are actually investing in the yen, the Swiss dollar, and the US dollars, which are all safe haven currencies when financial markets get quite in turmoil like we're seeing at the moment. Look, I hope this helps. I hope it sort of adds a little bit of flavour to the understanding of Greece, and we've got our disclaimer there. This is information only, and we don't give general or financial advice. Thanks very much for listening. Thank you.